please extend a warm welcome to the stage Mark Kang, Senior Vice President and Head of Worldwide Distribution at INSP.
Good afternoon. I love that the space is filled finally after all that insulation from COVID. Love seeing everybody here. Thank you all for being here. Okay, thank you. A little delay, my apologies. I thought I needed to bust out some dance moves, but I'm sure I could spare you from that. But as the former vice chair of NAMIC Board of Directors, chair of the chapters and membership committee, and the ELDP alum, where's my ELDP people at? My passion for NAMIC and the work of chapters remains strong. For its past 7 years, INSP has supported the work of NAMIC chapters and is proud to be the sponsor of the NAMIC Chapter Awards. NAMIC chapters are the heartbeat of our membership. They provide enriching programs, they cultivate leaders within our companies and in the community. They foster connections and networking opportunities and amplify our voices as member of this multicultural organization. INSP is thrilled to honor chapter leaders for their tireless efforts to provide high-quality programming to NAMIC members across the country. And we'd like to have a big round of applause for all the leaders among NAMIC 18 chapters. Please stand up, NAMIC chapter leaders. Woo, woo. Yeah. Now for the big moment. We are recognizing the innovative work of 3 standout individuals. These individuals are called change agents. What does it take to be a change agent for NAMIC? Leadership. This includes guiding the chapter board through accomplishments and challenges while succession planning for the next team of leaders. Commitment. Attendance to meetings, events, and always showing up and putting their best foot forward no matter the circumstances. Ambassador. The voice behind the corporation, speaking and representing the NAMIC brand in a professional manner. And self-starter is able to see the final goal and take the steps necessary to get there without waiting on instruction. And collaborator, ready to and willing to work with peers to make something small, bigger, and better by joining forces. While many of our chapter leaders fill these criteria, these 3 individuals stand out as a true NAMIC change agents. It gives me pleasure to award our Chapter Leader Award honorees. We're Dia Barnes. President of NAMIC New York, your leadership and commitment to the success of NAMIC's largest chapter for over 6 years and maintaining over 500 active members shows your true passion for organization. You raised the bar with your social media efforts, increasing NAMIC's brand awareness by solidifying over 3,000 followers and co-leading the sponsorship chapter training. Lastly, you are a true collaborator, working in tandem with other NAMIC chapters to provide bigger and better events. In recognition of your advocacy and passion of diversity, equity, and inclusion, as NAMIC New York President, we honor you as a NAMIC change agent. All right. For the next honoree, Danielle Green, come on down. Danielle Green, President of NAMIC Southern California, your work in co-producing the 2022 Hollywood Creative Forum with the Walter Cates Foundation and sponsoring the chapter session, The Creative Evolution, The New Frontier, put you above and beyond the industry standard. Your work in developing partnership with corporate and nonprofit sectors such as Census Bureau and co-leading the sponsorship chapter training showed your innovative work style. Additionally, recruiting and onboarding an 18-member board that reflects the DEI landscape exemplifies your leadership ethic. In recognition of your spirited and innovative leadership style to advance NAMIC's mission as NAMIC Southern California President, we honor you as a NAMIC change agent. Okay, last but not least, Maria Holmes. President of NAMIC Detroit, you're an innovative leader who thinks outside the box and consistently brings fresh ideas to the forefront. Your knowledge of nonprofit leadership and governance is unparalleled and led to a model succession planning process for all NAMIC chapters. And finally, you're a diverse and inclusive leader who brought new voices, expertise, and resources to the NAMIC Detroit chapter and community. In recognition of your exceptional commitment to mentor and develop future leaders as NAMIC Detroit President, we honor you as the NAMIC change agent. Let's have a big round of applause for our 2022 NAMIC change agents.
Congratulations. Oh, thank you. Absolutely. We're going to get a photo. Yeah. You too, Mark. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you.
And now, please welcome to the stage today's host, Danita Polanco, National Univision Network talent and influencer, Dominican correspondent for Univision Network's Premier Impaco, and host of Univision's 41st Di Pietra Nueva York. 15 years of experience as correspondent for shows like El Gordo and Yla Flanca, I know my Spanish is great, and Premier and Blanco, and Univision tempos such as Latin Grammys and Primero yo está, and social media influencer with a high female following. Previous brands she has worked with include Mercedes-Benz, New York Lottery, and NYC Health and Hospitals. Has interviewed celebrities such as Ricky Martin and Dwayne Johnson. Has received numerous awards for her journalism as a news magazine and entertainment reporter. Ladies and gentlemen, please extend a warm welcome to Daniela Polanco.
Very good. Mwah. His English is better than mine. Hola, ¿cómo están? How's everyone doing today? Familia, we are glad you could join us on what is sure to be a great award ceremony. And thank you, of course, NAMIC, for partnering with Televisa Univision again to host this year's Next Generation Leaders and Luminary Awards. At Televisa Univision, we share NAMIC vision to make sure to make industry more diverse and inclusive, and I thank the organization for shining a light on these amazing resilient leaders who foster better work environment. At Televisa Univision, we help close the diversity gap in entertainment by raising awareness of the solution as well as the disparities by creating and celebrating content that is representative of today's America. Today, these emerging executives are being honored for excelling in their craft and expanding their representative organization's commitment to diversity and inclusion. They have demonstrated exceptional business acumen and exemplified NAMIC's mission to educate, advocate, and empower for multi-ethnic diversity and inclusion in their communication industry. And now we are excited to begin our program and salute our honorees. Everybody understanding? To our audience, you can learn more about this year's Luminaries by scanning the QR code located on the digital program card at your tables. We ask that you please hold your applause until all our luminaries have taken the stage. The following leaders are the inductees into 2022 Luminaries class. Dennis Bennett, Vice President, Brand Strategy and Idea Lab, iHeartMedia. Rockmon Khan, Vice President, Community Impact, Charter Communications. Noel Manzano, Vice President, International Programming and Development, AMC Networks. Grace Moss, Vice President, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Programs, Warner Brothers Discovery. Sean Singleton, Vice President, Bureau Operations, Charter Communications. Tonya Wally, Vice President, Field Operations Strategy, Cox Communications. Ching Wang, Vice President, Visual Storytelling, ESPN. And Sophia Sinu, Vice President, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Workforce, Warner Brothers Discovery. ¡Felicidades! Now, please join us for giving a luminary, a winner, a big round of applause. Thank you. You're welcome. We have more. This is your moment. Thank you. Thank you. We are now pleased to introduce NAMIC 2022 Next Generation Leader Awards. The commitment of these leaders to excellence is exceptional. They are part of some of the most well-known organizations in our industry. Our first award is presented to Kia Painter, Executive Vice President, Chief People Officer, Cox Communications. Please turn your attention to this video about Kia.
When I was named a Next Generation Leaders Award honoree, I thought, yes, I did it. I imagined this back in 2011 when I attended my first NAMIC Luminary Next Gen ceremony. I was incredibly inspired, and I wanted to make a difference like so many others who came before me. And to be recognized by an organization that's been so influential in my growth as a woman of color in this industry is truly extraordinary.
I was delighted to hear that Kia was being recognized by NAMIC as a next generation leader. She embodies what it means to be a business partner, and she looks for the opportunities to shape the future by making it happen today.
She's transparent and works daily to ensure that Cox is a wonderful place to work. She's always looking out to the future, spotting trends, and delivering well-balanced and accountable plans.
Kia has and continues to embody all of the principles and qualities of a next-generation leader. From her leadership within People Solutions, her reach across the Cox family of companies, and to those like me who look up to her and all that she has accomplished in her young life so far. And I think she is someone who looks like me.
I became a diversity champion in my first leadership role. We were lacking creativity, and it had a lot to do with how homogenous our team was. I realized that my team needed different opinions, perspectives, and representation if we were going to achieve better performance and results.
Kia is an inspiration to many people on my team, throughout Cox and within the industry. Her story shows young professionals what is possible.
She also empowers our young professionals by helping them build confidence and ensuring that they have a voice.
Kia's had a big influence on me over the past 12 years. She's been an incredible partner, role model, and probably most importantly for me, she's been an amazing coach. She's helped me understand the importance of diversity and inclusion in my thoughts, my words, my daily actions, and by doing so, I'm a better leader.
Kia is critical to furthering our diversity and inclusion efforts at Cox. She embodies diversity and inclusion and is an advocate for numerous programs at Cox and all over the industry.
Kia's approach is all about empowering others. She values every voice in the room. She encourages others to share openly and to act on their ideas.
Being an advocate for inclusion and diversity is foundational. It's table stakes for my livelihood, which has been a long career as a talent and human resources professional.
Now, please welcome Kia Painter to the stage. Kia, it's your moment. You go, girl. This is your moment.
Okay, so, thank you. So, first of all, that excitement is, that's real. I have dreamed about this moment for over a decade. So first, I have to thank NAMIC for this award. When I tell you about a community who has powered an amazing career journey that I had, my first experience with a formal mentoring program was with the L. Patrick Mellon program, where I was paired with the leader at what was Time Warner at the time. Remarkable experience. And so I met a gentleman last night named Charles who was looking for mentors for the L. Patrick Mellon program now. So please, if you are here, participate in that. That was my first experience with NAMIC. Then when I was in my late 20s, I went to a program called the Leadership Seminar, where it really gave me a great foundation for how to just find my own experience, what I wanted to be as a leader. If I thought I had the gift to be able to lead people, I got a lot of that experience and coaching from my experience in NAMIC's Leadership Seminar. And then if you have been to ELDP, you know that is the program where you have to get your entire life together. And so I am so grateful to NAMIC, because when I tell you about a community and a tribe of people, executives who are really behind seeing the advancement of people who look like me to reach that C, nobody does it better than NAMIC. So thank you so much, NAMIC. I also want to thank Cox Communications. I walked into the door of that company when I was 22 years old. All I had was phone calls from Sally Mae saying it's time to pay up on these student loans. So I walked into those doors almost 25 years ago when I was 22, and that company has been so remarkable in ensuring that there were always doors for me to walk into. Sometimes there weren't even doors on the frames. That company has been so special in creating spaces for people who look like me to bring your authentic self, do your thing, just so long as you think about pulling people behind you. And so I thank Cox Communications. I thank Mark Graytrex. Mark gave me my shot to be in this C chair. I thank the illustrious Karen Bennett. Succession planning works.
It is a powerful force, a powerful practice for ensuring you are getting people ready who have the potential to do great things. And so I'm not sure if Karen is here today, but she is the embodiment of ensuring that you have great people ready to go off and do big things. So if you have succession planning in your organization, leverage it to move people of color up because it works. And finally, I would be remiss if I did not thank the woman who started it all. I dedicate this award to Patricia K. Painter, my mother, because long before I heard Black Girls Rocked, long before I heard that we actually have a little bit of magic, my mama told me, Black girls soar. And so whenever you are in doubt, she said, whenever you are in doubt, because sometimes it happens, she said, you put on your best outfit, you put your jetpack on with your turbo boosters, and you soar, and you go get those dreams. So I say to all of you, go get your dreams. Thank you so much, NAMIC. Thank you, Cox.
That was a speech, huh? Thank you. Our second award is presented to Freddy Rolón, Senior Vice President, Programming and Scheduling, ESPN. Please turn your attention to this video about Freddy.
I've known Freddie for a long time, and I've worked with him on so many projects and networks and that type of thing. And he is a relentless, just cheerleader and representative of the diversity discussion as well as the U.S. Hispanic business. And he's always the one, just challenging people to make sure, like, are we considering the diverse audience? Like, are we taking the risks that we should? Are we producing the content that we should? And he's, not afraid to push people on that. Like, he's not afraid to challenge people. Very few people in our company actually know this space as well as he does, and he's not afraid to go against the grain.
Freddie is a key member of the ESPN leadership team, and as ESPN's SVP of Programming and Scheduling, he influences fans by virtue of his job each and every day. Beyond his work in programming, Freddie has long served as an inspiration, mentor, and champion to employees at ESPN, sharing his personal experiences to help encourage and lift others.
So Freddie has never missed an opportunity to talk about ways in which we should be mindful of the diversity of our audience and make sure that our workplace culture matches that diversity. And he has been consistent as long as I've known him. He introduces high-end concepts for making sure that our content is rich and diverse, but he's also a great leader who identifies how he can help others stand up in this moment. So he just is a living example of what it takes to do this work in a business environment. You need certainty and you need the ability to communicate. Freddie always works with facts and stats, real information that is actionable. And then he just is a great example of what it means to have somebody who can come in from a different perspective and be a leader.
Honestly, when I first heard that he was getting this award, I thought, well, it's about time. Freddie is this incredibly unique leader that has always made sure that he is in the middle of every conversation with regards to diversity and inclusion. And if he cannot be in the middle of the conversation, he has empowered his team to make sure that it's in the core of everything that we do on a daily basis.
I can honestly say that I get lifted by Freddie. He and I have worked very closely together over the years, particularly in this conversation about making our workplace inclusive. And his determination and his consistency lift me up on days where it's harder for me to get going. He is an amazing teammate, and I really do admire the example he sets. He's a peer, but I look up to him.
Please welcome Freddy Rolón to the stage. I see.
Let me just adjust this a little bit. Thank you. It's heavy. First, I just want to echo what you probably heard a little bit so far. It's been amazing to be together these last few days, right? Like, you don't always know what you're missing until it's gone. And after 2 years of being virtual in COVID, this is so welcome. This conference represents, to me, the rich diversity of our industry. But as you also heard, it really serves as a reminder of the connections we make through NAMIC, whether it's EDLP, leadership seminars, board meetings for me, or even just past receptions here in New York City. It feels like a family reunion, and there's nothing like being recognized by your peers and those you consider family. So one of my NAMIC and ESPN family members is being recognized today, but he's not here to receive the award physically, but I know he's here in spirit. So James Hendricks was my EDLP classmate. Class 9, which I think is the best class. And then we shared the good fortune of working a long time together at ESPN. He was actually one of the first people to congratulate me on the award, and we had a plan to celebrate today. So I don't get to celebrate with James today, but in his honor, I'd like to make a request of all of you, right? At ESPN, we use sports terminology all the time, and we use it as analogies. And when we talk about DEI, for instance, we say diversity is about being on the team, and inclusion is about who gets to play. I'll stretch that analogy a little bit more. James was passionate about making sure that people had a chance to play in meaningful situations. And if you knew him, he would encourage you to step up when he saw opportunities for you. And he would coach you through that because he actually felt very strongly that he believed in someone, he wanted them to succeed. I think we all know stepping up is not always easy to do, especially people of color, women. And then some of us are so focused on what we're doing day to day that we sometimes miss the opportunities that others see as obvious. So I will ask whether you are in a leadership position or just a peer, find an opportunity in the next 3 days or 7 weeks to lift someone up. Help lift someone you see potential in. Whatever is in your power, give someone an opportunity to show you that they have what it takes to hit a few home runs. Encourage them to take chance they may not see. And if you can, coach them through it. Or just let them know that you believe in them. Look, I've benefited from getting playing time. I know others will too. I didn't speak English until I was 5. I needed someone in that kindergarten class to believe in me that I would figure it out that year. I think when you're in business, when you're in different opportunities, you need someone on the other side believing in you as well. So if you can be that person for someone else, that would be the best way to honor James. Finally, before I leave, I'd just like to thank Jimmy Pitaro, Burke Magnus, Russell Wolf, Trod Keller, Lino Garcia. Thanks for listening to me when I asked for you to put me in coach and for putting me in a position to succeed. Thanks.
Congratulations. Let's wait for the picture. And now our third award is presented to Monica Williams, Senior Vice President, Digital Program, Products and Operations, Content Distribution NBC Universal. Please turn your attention to this video about Monica.
Monica is a great leader. She's beloved by her staff. She knows the digital space very well and really, really cares about NBC products and their success.
She's also compassionate. She's very transparent. I personally appreciate her leadership style and what she brings to the organization.
As a leader, I certainly feel that it is my core responsibility to create the best culture to achieve the best performance output. It's certainly very critical now for business leaders to be committed to fostering diversity and really ensuring diverse talents have access to our industry will only make our products better. We need now more than ever all different voices represented to guarantee our consumers can both access and relate to our content.
My first thought when I heard Monica was being nominated for this award, I feel that this was well-deserved and overdue. Monica really cares and she inspires me every day to advance diversity inside of NBC, which is critical to NBC's success.
I was excited and proud of her. I think the last few years, as we all know, have been very challenging for everybody, and especially for leaders. She has shown her humanity in the way that she leads with our team. She's kept us, glued together and really brought us through some challenging times.
My first thought when I was told that I was named Next Generation Leaders Award honoree, I immediately felt so honored to be selected among such deserving peers. We're so fortunate in our industry to have an organization like NAMIC that reaches so broadly to support minorities, and I believe my nomination is a testament of NAMIC's successful mission of empowering multi-ethnic diversity as a female Asian American immigrant in technology.
Monica's advocacy of diversity and inclusion has inspired me in that I'm always trying to make sure that we're considering diversity and inclusion in everything that we do, from project-based work to hiring. It's become almost the norm for us. I wouldn't say that it is like a agenda item anymore, right? So it's become part of our culture and our nature, and a lot of that is due to Monica.
My desire to help minorities excel comes from my own experience as a first-generation immigrant, which continues to inspire me every day. A focus on diversity has always been a pillar of my leadership style. I work with the brightest in the business, and they motivate me every day to be a better leader by modeling a human-first leadership style that prioritizes diverse professionals.
Please welcome Monica Williams to the stage.
It is heavy. Okay, let me adjust this. Hi, everyone. It's so exciting to be here today. I first want to acknowledge my colleagues from Comcast, NBC Universal, those both in the room with me today and those who couldn't make it. I have worked at NBC Universal and former parent General Electric before that. In my entire career, it's really the people that I've met across these three organizations that continue to inspire me every day. I next want to acknowledge my fellow honorees today. What an honor to be next to you all in receiving this award. I've so enjoyed getting to learn more about each and every one of you and the amazing work you're doing. James and I both had similar paths within GE and NBC Universal. Although his is through HR, and while we didn't know each other, his impact is evident in his body of work. My deepest sympathy go out to his family, friends, and colleagues. and to NAMIC. This recognition truly means the world to me. As a first-generation Chinese American, I've struggled for a long time to understand my identity and figure out where I really belong. In the earlier years, I didn't feel like I belonged here. And when I went what I thought was home back to China, I was called a foreigner. But it turns out that feeling of not belonging is quite common, especially for first-generation immigrants. Looking back at those memories and feelings, and over the course of my career, there have been moments where I felt especially like an outsider, that others were more likely to have the opportunities that I so wanted for myself. And as I continue my own journey that I'm so grateful for as a leader, as someone who creates products and consumer experience, and as a wife and a mother, it's that experience an outsider that fuels me, that motivates me every day to create an environment, shape a culture, and build product experiences that create belonging for everyone. I thank NAMIC for recognizing that work and supporting it. The validation NAMIC provides us is we not only mentor our next generation, but find ways to incorporate diversity, equity, and inclusion into our businesses is invaluable. I know that we still have so much more work to do, but I am proud of the reminder that NAMIC gives us in the role we have, in making sure everyone feels like they have the same opportunities, and that they're included in our workplaces, and that feels seen on our screens, both big and small, and that they belong. Thank you again to NAMIC and my Comcast NBC Universal family, and congratulations to my fellow honorees. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final award is presented posthumously to James Hendricks, Group Vice President, Human Resources and Administration, Spectrum Ridge. James was part of the NAMIC family as he was participating member of NAMIC Covered Program ELDP. James was known for warm personality, collaboration, and he was a champion of diversity and inclusion. Please turn your attention to this video about James.
James is a get-it-done kind of guy, a real straight shooter. He's become a valuable member of the team. He's very collaborative, he's very collegial. People like to work with him because he brings a new and refreshing view.
James is a passionate, collaborative, strategic leader who really inspires people to achieve phenomenal results.
He sets a really high bar. You know, whenever he takes something on, he'll do anything to make sure that we achieve that goal.
James' focus on execution and follow-through has helped us gain traction with many key initiatives here at Charter, including a new intern program, a new focus on talent and diversity recruitment, as well as external diversity partnerships.
James not only talks the talk, but he also walks the walk. James understands that the secret to growing a successful organization is to value the differences of others. And when you pull different minds together, greatness happens.
When I first heard about it, of like winning this, I'm like, wait, me? Really? And then I started thinking about the generations ahead of me that got me to this far and being able to build on their shoulders. It makes me think of the future generation that will be able to build off of my shoulders. It motivates me to make people better. Nothing's better than knowing that there's something that you did that will, you know, be here until the test of time.
Please welcome to the stage David Klein, Executive Vice President, Spectrum Reach, who is accepting the award on behalf of James Hendricks.
The shock of hearing about James' passing took my breath away. You know, it still seems surreal to me. I'm sure it does to a lot of you, and I've heard a lot about him today from you, so it's great to learn. While we considered whether we should reshoot the video after his passing, we thought a more appropriate tribute to him was for you, his industry colleagues and friends, to see the video as it was originally intended. As many of us, James's peers and coworkers, flew to his hometown of Akron, Ohio, to attend his funeral services, the mood was expectedly somber. We were all going there to pay respects to a very valued member of our team. However, the trip home was markedly different. Of course, we were sad to say goodbye to James, but the service, attended by his family, friends, over 100 fraternity brothers from Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, and the Bobby Lewis Ensemble from New York Baptist Church, which he was very involved with here in Harlem, turned out to be a celebration of his life, and what a life he led. Simply put, James was an agent of change. We all knew about James' academic career at the prestigious Case Western Reserve in Cleveland, and we've heard today, and I've known about his success at GE, NBCU, ESPN, and of course at Spectrum Reach, just to name a few. But what we learned about how much James gave back to the community once we attended that funeral, from his numerous professional organizations or his heavy involvement in the New Light Baptist Church and his board of directors position at Safe Horizons here in New York City for the homeless shelters in New York, James gave his time and his energy. We heard many eulogies about what a devoted son he was, how dedicated he was to his three sisters, and too many others in attendance at this large gathering in the church that morning in Akron. After only being with Spectrum Reach for 2 years, most of us only knew him professionally. It was truly wonderful to see a side of him many of us didn't know, and I will say, Monica and Fred, your words really rang true for us too, because you guys knew him so much longer than we did. You had the privilege of that. In closing, we at Spectrum Reach have created an annual award, the James Hendricks Award, to recognize an employee who exemplifies integrity, tenacity, collaboration, and intelligence. All the qualities personified by James. Yeah, he deserves it. He thinks you guys are all here for just him anyway today. Well, I can't think of a better way to keep James' memory alive at Spectrum Reach. And thank you, NAMIC, for selecting him as a next generation leader, someone who embodied all those qualities of the award we are naming after him. By the way, he was so proud of this award. I'm sure wherever he is, he's telling everybody. Thank you.
The Diversity in Technology Award is presented to Franklin Atheas, Senior Vice President, Emerging Technology and Services, Comcast Cable. Please turn your attention to this video about Franklin.
Franklin, for over 27 years, have made such an impact on Comcast as a business with his vision and his leadership around technology. He's a connector. He brings people together, he brought the engineers together, and he helped coach them to the rightful place and where they can contribute to the company. I can't say enough about Franklin's ability to quietly transform the experience of the Black technologists here at Comcast. What I'm most proud of is Franklin's influence on a group of those engineers that were women. And they started to focus on how to motivate and really lift up the women in technology so that they can pursue the opportunities. When I think of Franklin Atheist, I think of the architect's architect. He represents what this award is all about.
Franklin is not only an innovator, he's an innovative leader. And that's why he's had such a big impact, because he's always been on top of really big programs. And that's why I'm so excited that he's winning this award, because number one, he's a fantastic technologist. He's just touched everything major and pivotal for the company in the past 27 years. I'm excited for him because he's a great role model. Setting up our network, setting up the first Wi-Fi network, launching mobile, launching our voice services, his impact is huge. He's very direct, which I love. And he's fair about it. I think his peers look at him as, very honest, very transparent. People describe him as a pragmatic leader, a great innovator, and a good collaborator. He genuinely cares about his colleagues, he cares about the company, and he cares about the decisions we make. And so I would just thank him for having that clarity and focus and generosity with his opinion.
I cannot think of anyone more deserving of winning this inaugural Diversity in Technology Award than my teammate and friend, Franklin. Over the past quarter of a century, in one way or another, Franklin has been the chief architect in the development and launch of multi-billion-dollar businesses in our industry. Franklin is known for his candor, pragmatism, while being inclusive and jovial at the same time. He has big ideas, but he also delivers. He brings everyone on his team along when he endeavors to climb the next mountain. He creates a sense of family within his team. And that's why I'm thrilled that everyone can hear from Franklin himself as he shares his thoughts on receiving the inaugural Diversity in Technology Award.
Hello. I would like to first apologize for not being there with you in person. Thank you, NAMIC, SCT, and Multi-Channel News for honoring me with the inaugural Diversity in Technology Award. Thank you to my Comcast family for nominating me. I had no idea what they were up to, so it was a very special surprise. I've always been passionate about diversity and inclusion and was fortunate to have been introduced to technology in high school, where I was surrounded by people who looked like me, and that changed the trajectory of my life. When I got into the technology field, I realized I was a minority, and I made a commitment to make a difference for other folks like me. At Comcast, I was able to create new teams with the flexibility to hire and promote, always with diversity as a core tenet. The successes I've had in my career have been because of the diverse teams that I've worked with. Outside of work, I started to teach coding to young ladies of color in the community to introduce them to technology. To grab their attention, we started Dance Logic, a STEAM program of dancing and coding that not only helps with future diversity and inclusion, but also gives them a start to hopefully become future leaders. Thank you again for this prestigious honor and for everything you are doing to promote diversity across our industry.
Well, it has been a pleasure for me to be your host this afternoon. I hope you understood my English, right? I would like to ask you, all the next generation leaders and luminaries, please come back on stage for the group photo. Gracias y nos vemos en la próxima.
I'm sorry. We're not going to do that right now. We're going to do it at the end. Our highest honor, this is not on the teleprompter, but our highest honoree has a very hard stop. And I want to make sure that we lift her up and you are able to hear from her, and then we'll do group photos at the end. Does that work? Yes. All right, okay. All right, established in 1992, the Mickey Leland Award honors people of color for their ongoing work in advocating for increased ethnic diversity in the media, entertainment, and technology industries. Juju Chang, your remarkable career in journalism, humanitarianism, exemplifies the work and advocacy of the late Congressman Mickey Leland, and we are proud to present you with NAMIC's highest honor, the 2022 Mickey Leland Humanitarian Award. Let's take a moment to learn about Juju and her accomplishments. Please, I invite your attention to the video.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Juju Chang is my Nightline co-anchor, a cherished fixture with the ABC News family, and a world-class reporter of the highest caliber. From her early years co-anchoring World News Now,
here's some of the stories we're following this morning,
to a correspondent reporting from the heart of the source,
to help bring badly needed disaster relief,
to breaking news, Juju making history on Good Morning America.
First, let's go to Juju Chang, who has the morning's news.
The first Korean American to anchor a network morning news show.
First, Juju Chang, back with the morning news.
Good morning, Robin and George.
Let's go back over to Juju. Good morning, Juju.
Good morning again, guys, and good morning, everyone.
In carrying her love for stories and people to Nightline.
It smells like every Grateful Dead concert I've ever been to. Good evening. Thanks for joining us.
The show she's been calling home the last 8 years. Relentlessly pursuing groundbreaking news.
What are the hardest parts of ALS? Are you trying to normalize racism? What was the emotional impact on you of what happened in that hotel room?
Crisscrossing the globe.
His father was killed by gangs. His brother was killed at the age of 16. He himself was shot 3 times, and yet he says it's the violence against women that's out of control.
And on the front lines of history.
I mean, many people believe that Kim Jong-un came to this summit.
We want to give you a quick look at the Electoral College map.
So many people call you a traitor. Many call you a hero. Who is Chelsea Manning?
A dogged journalist, beloved wife and devoted mother of 3. And dedicated advocate for the Asian American community, pushing forward their stories to the forefront.
Did you feel pressure to represent, as it were?
I was certainly mindful of the role that I'm playing.
Screenings with Asian Americans have left audiences in tears. Why is it so emotional? No snails were hurt in the production of this story.
Juju also never wavering from her support of the Korean American Community Foundation, a co-founder and tireless champion. Throughout the years, visiting Korean nonprofits, learning about the challenges facing the community and the possible solutions. Juju also the annual star MC for the foundation, only missing 1 year when she was called on assignment. A steadfast ambassador and a pillar in the Korean American community, her generous spirit and down-to-earth personality infectious to all, on and off TV.
All right,
Juju is grace. She is goodness. She is the best of us.
It's kind of crazy, right?
Please join me in welcoming Juju Chang to the stage.
It is kind of crazy, let's be honest. I've held that statue. I'll hold it again. And the minute I put it in my arms, I was like, okay, you're just increasing my imposter syndrome at this point. It's such a heavy-duty award. I don't, frankly, feel deserving. But I like to say that out loud because so many of us look at others and think, oh, that person has it all going on. And the truth is, we all walk around with deep insecurities, right? And questioning ourselves and our talents, and that's what NAMIC is all about. I'm here and humbled to be here, along with so many of the honorees. I feel like I look at Franklin and James and Kia and Freddie and Monica, and I think I need to do more with my days. I don't know how you guys get it all done and how much you've helped. One of my bosses, Galen Gordon, is sitting here at the ESPN table. And I was like, Galen, you're such a big shot at ABC News. Thank you for taking the time to come to NAMIC. And he says to me, NAMIC changed my life. And I thought, of course it did. And that's why we're here. We're here because of the things that you guys have been doing day in and day out for 25 plus years, 40 years to be exact. You know, I say that I'm humbled and honored to receive the Mickey Leland Award. His legacy is burnished in the culture here and what we're doing every day. But today I'm mostly and deeply gratified by the room that's filled with so many lights, so many luminaries, right? For 42 years, you guys have helped bring diversity and by definition, equity into the communications business. For 42 years, NAMIC has been doing the thing that we're all talking about post George Floyd, educating, advocating, empowering, all in the name of multi-ethnic diversity. That's solidarity in a nutshell, and that's what our country has been in conversation about for the last 3 years. This organization is about allyship. Now, we all know NAMIC was founded in 1980. I graduated from high school in 1983. You can do the math, I'm 57. I graduated from college. Then again, when Kia said, I've been wherever for 25 years, I was like, girl, you look awesome. Anyway, I digress. In '87, I graduated from college. I moved to New York as a vacation relief desk assistant for ABC News. But my real story dates back 20 years earlier. I was born in Seoul. We immigrated to this country at the age of 4. I grew up in Sunnyvale, California, not long after the 1965 Immigration Act, so there weren't a lot of people who looked like me in school, right? And as a result, I knew what it felt like to be other. I felt like my parents talked funny. Talk about accents. Your Spanish accent is better than my Spanish, so there you go to our MC today. I felt like my parents talked funny, that our family's food smelled funny. And I was reminded on the playground that this face looked funny. And I always wanted to grow up and be that blonde-haired, blue-eyed California girl. And throughout my career as a journalist, I understood what it was like because I watched my dad being treated poorly, being talked down to. But I didn't have the words to describe what I was seeing. I just knew that it didn't feel right. I didn't know what prejudice or unconscious bias or whatever the words are that we use to describe those kinds of feelings to this day. But throughout my career, I've told stories through the eyes of that young immigrant girl who felt othered and knew what that is like. So when I arrived here in New York City with a healthy dose of imposter syndrome, I really went about working hard. And I bumped up against organizations like NAMIC. I've been to your luncheon many times. I've worked on your multi-ethnic diversity experts thing. And to know that you have been here, steadfast and true, I feel like that in many ways is parallel to my own career. Because I've been quietly doing that work, right? For decades, drawn to stories of people who are othered, of the little guy, of trying to give voice to the voiceless, right? At Nightline, I've considered so many of these stories to part of my core. I've covered asylum seekers along our southern border, climate migrants in Guatemala. You saw some of the footage from Africa, chasing victims of Boko Haram across East Africa. I've done stories about trans women of color who are often targeted for violence, anti-Semitism, anti-LGBT, wherever the hate is. I feel drawn to telling those stories, to shed light into those dark corners. Thank you. And along the way, I kept my identity a little bit on the sidelines, right? You guys, I'm sure, know what that's like, right? It's not front and center. You want to be one of the guys, so you act like one of the guys. But quietly, in my spare time, you saw in the video, I helped found a Korean American community foundation. And it's now matured into this massive force in the AAPI philanthropy community. And it reminded me every day that this idea of crazy rich Asians, literally the movie that I was doing the interview about, is a mythology of the model minority. 18% of Asian Americans in New York live in poverty. And the Robin Hood Foundation says that 1 in 4 Asian New Yorkers lived in poverty in 2020, comparable to the share of African Americans and Latinx New Yorkers who live in poverty. And that's double the rate of poverty for white New Yorkers, right? 1 in every 4 Koreans in northern New Jersey are uninsured. Many are undocumented. We are often rendered invisible. We're the ones who deliver your Chinese food meal or paint your nails or sell you liquor or gas at the station. We're invisible to many of you. And so that's why the model minority myth is one that storytellers need to break down. And yet, if that 20% poverty rate in a population that's 15% of New York, we get less than 1% of funding, city and state and grant funding. And that is what unconscious bias can do to a community. That's how it can hurt a community. Not to mention the fact that it's often used to pit our community against other communities of color, right? And that's why organizations like NAMIC are so powerful, because we're talking about allyship. We're talking about acting in solidarity. Like NAMIC, my career, I think, is a parallel work in the name of inclusion and diversity. But we don't do it just to do the right thing. We do it because now there's this increasing awareness that doing the right thing also dovetails with the bottom line. Companies that are diverse, that are headed with women included, do better return on investments, better dividends. They serve their consumers better. So it's not just about doing what's good and what's right. It's about doing what's profitable. And so we all know that after George Floyd's murder and after months of the COVID shutdown, all that fear and anxiety of the pandemic was weaponized in many ways against the Asian American community. We were scapegoated. We were blamed by the China virus, right? And sure enough, AAPI hate spiked 150%. And that's just like a loose reporting. Imagine how many cases went unreported, right? That's why I'm proud of the instant special we did at ABC News. We did an hour after the Atlanta spa shootings, where 8 people were killed and 6 of them were Asian American women. And we don't have to get into why that is so problematic, the fetishizing of Asian and Asian American women, but we can understand that there is an invisibility to that community, and that's why I think it galvanized the Asian American community at the same time that the African American community was galvanized. You know, and there is so much of this conversation going on right now in corporate America, in academia, in public policy circles, in philanthropy circles. We've been talking about this off stage. Everyone is looking for solutions. And so how do we look for diversity? How do we go out there? I wonder if there are organizations out there that are working in this space. And the truth is, that's where NAMIC has been front and center for 42 years. When we talk about solutions, we talk about underrepresentation. How do you fix that? Guess what? Career enhancement, the kind of program that Galen went to, the kind of program that Kia went to. She said it changed her career. This is about empowerment. It's about networking. It was so funny, we were talking about, like, we have to start this lunch. I was like, no, the reason we can't start this lunch is everybody's doing the thing you want them to do, which is networking, right? All the things that experts point to help in the idea of diversity and equity and inclusion. So I'm gonna end where I began. I am deeply gratified to be in this room, full of dedicated people with a sense of mission and purpose to bring diversity and, by definition, equity into the communications business. Thank you, Team Nightline. Thank you, ABC News. Thank you, of course, to my family, my husband who's not here, but who's always supportive, to the 3 kids who were like, okay, Mom, you have to go to work again. And thank you to NAMIC for this wonderful honor. I really appreciate it.
Okay, I hope everyone enjoyed the luncheon. If we could have all luminaries and NGLs upstage, we'll do one big great group photo. And enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thank you for being here, and congratulations to everyone.